Innervision, taking you to a new level of Christian radio. www.innervisionrecords.org, the official website of Innervision.
Send us feedback, requests.
Help spread the word about local musicians. We are Inner FM.
Welcome to another Innervision FM. And, of course, this is Johnnie J. And we have a fantastic guest here who's going to tell you a lot about himself and his music and his plans for, like, just inspiring you and making you feel good about music in general and his music. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you and welcome to Innervision FM, Mr. Dean.
Hey, Johnny, thank you so much for having me. I've known you for a long time, and we've never done an actual radio interview together, so it's kind of cool being here. It was good talking with you before and catching up with you, and glad to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself before you started your music career, and then how did it lead you into music?
Well, before I started my music career, I was very young because I got into music at a real young age. But, I was fortunate enough to be raised by two Christian parents. So I was raised in a church. And really, hearing music from church and hearing the original church hymns were kind of the first things that brought me to music. And, of course, so my faith and my music kind of came together, which is really a big reason why I do Christian hip-hop today, was because I was really raised on both music and my faith. And growing up, going through middle school and things like that was a big time where most kids either pick what direction they're going to go, and that also includes what kind of music they're going to listen to and things like that. And, really hearing all the negative music out there really kind of inspired me to want to do something positive with music and take the music with the sound that was relevant and do it with Christian lyrics to it. That way, the youth had positive music to listen to. Now, I noticed, because we were promoting this other group at that time called Preachers in the Hood. Oh, yeah. And so we would go to churches, and sometimes it would be just older people there, and they didn't really get the concept, like, invite kids, you know? Right. And then it was just this big block of people who were saying, like, well, we don't think that Christian contemporary should be hip-hop, and so did you ever come against that? Or? You know what? It's so funny you said that because, some of the first events that I started doing when I started music was with Preachers in the Hood, believe it or not, and I got to know his name's Age. He's one of the members. I got to know him pretty well. But, yeah, when I started doing my own events and things like that, I started off in high school, going to different churches, asking, can I perform? And, at a young age, I was doing that, and a lot of churches did turn me down at that time. They said, we'll get back to you, and never heard back from them, or, hip-hop and Christian music, they don't mix. And, yeah, I got a lot of that feedback, and you know what? It's really changed a lot since then, thank God, that people are understanding that the way to reach the youth is by being relevant. When Jesus spoke in parables, he was speaking to his audience at that time and speaking their language. And, I believe the same goes with hip-hop, is it's the language of the youth, and it's a way to relate to them and talk to them and get on their level. Right. And then there's another story to go with that. I used to intern for what used to be at that time was the black radio station KDKL. And sure. Dr. Daddy-O's son, he was the mystery man, the morning guy. And they had the CDs, Christian contemporary CDs, and I said, "Man, can I have this?" And he would let me have, sure. The Christian contemporary. Oh, yeah, you can have it because that music's not going to go anywhere. And I said, "Okay, I know you're the mystery man, but I don't know how much you know about the music business because I knew, it was going to get better and better year after year." Sure. As people, because when it first started out, it was, of course, the record company wanted to make a little bit of money, and right. And so it wasn't as poetic and as creative as your music is now, because you started at one level and then you started transitioning and started making it better and better and better, and which each album
it gets better. How many albums do you have out so far?
I probably have about 7 or 8 out right now. So, I mean, like I said, I've been doing it for a while, and I'm working on my next album right now, which, I'm hoping that will be my best one yet. And each album has been just a different learning experience, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better. I feel like this next album is going to be the best one I've done yet, and, a lot of it's just learning and constantly practicing, and, honestly, patience is a big thing, and just learning to take your time on a project and picking which songs fit and which ones don't. And this next project, I'm really trying to make sure it's real cohesive and has something that sticks together and makes it a full project that has a good, solid, rounded sound to it.
Now, in the Christian contemporary hip hop world, or like even some secular artists that you heard, who are some of the musical icons that have inspired you?
Really, not, in all honesty, not a whole lot of Christian artists have inspired me. But if I were to pick a Christian artist, I would say Rich Mullins is a big one.
Okay.
Because, I mean, he's probably one of my favorite, or is my favorite Christian songwriter, and he wrote for many other people, including Amy Grant and things like that. And, he's a big inspiration to me as far as music's concerned. And, I like a lot of the new music that's coming out. I think Christian music, contemporary Christian music's gotten a lot better. Christian hip-hop in general has gotten a lot better. When Christian hip-hop first started out, it was more of a gangster Christian hip-hop. And today's hip-hop for Christian music, it's fitting more people instead of just the street people. Just kind of like secular hip-hop has become so global and everyone listens to it. That's the way Christian hip-hop and Christian music's become. It's become more well-rounded.
Now, as you know, it's like there's Way FM,
right?
And I don't. And then there's K-Love and stuff like that. Right now, they're not being flexible enough to intertwine the kind of music that you're doing there, or are they? Because I know there's other stations that they do intertwine, but it's not those two big powerhouses of radio stations. But what I heard, in Europe, they play Christian contemporary music right alongside the secular music. There's no separation. What are you finding as far as when they're on different internet stations, when they're playing your music? How are you finding, how are they mixing it in? Either is it all Christian, or are they mixing you in with other secular artists?
You know what? It's a little bit of both, because of just the way online streaming is gone. As far as online radio is concerned, it's a good mix of both. As far as regular Christian stations, it's either that or secular. The secular stations don't like Christian music, believe it or not. Actually, it's easy to believe. And, and Christian stations feel the same way about secular music. So, no, I don't see a whole lot of Christian stations playing secular music and vice versa, to be honest with you.
This happened, let's see. Johnnie Cage used to be the program director over at KS 107.
Okay, I was going to say that name rings a bell. Sure.
And I had talked to him. I was talking to him about doing a Sunday morning Christian contemporary hip hop show.
Okay.
And he says that would confuse my audience. And I'm thinking what? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. In what way would they confuse your audience?
Sure.
Hearing something spiritual. But if it was a doctor, maybe Dr. Daddio, maybe it wouldn't have. And back when I was growing up, way back in the day, it was so funny. You would have the gospel train, sure. And because most of the people that had businesses who were minorities at that time, they had liquor stores.
Okay.
So you would hear gospel music, and then you would hear all these commercials about liquor, and it was so good. It was so funny. I said, "Okay, you got two spirits."
I guess you have to get your advertising where you can get it.
So and then it got better as time went on. But sure. I just remember back in the day, it was liquor commercial, Christian contemporary music, on a Sunday morning.
Wow.
And it was just, but and then so now, so I have this program director saying that it would confuse my audience. I'm thinking
I think they're already a little confused.
Yeah. So that, I don't know. It's crazy. So tell me, like, what is like one of your favorite songs that you recorded, and then when you did it live, I mean, that was like really your favorite song to do live?
You know what? That's a tough one to answer, because I have a lot of songs I like. I definitely, I like the songs that definitely have a lot of meaning and purpose behind them. Kind of like my last album, Before I Knew. I have a title song titled Before I Knew, and it's after Jeremiah 1:5. It says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and I set you apart for my purpose." And I like talking about songs and explaining the reason why I wrote those songs and things like that, and songs that I can explain the purpose and then they listen to the song and get something out of it. Those are my favorite songs to perform. But then I also like the ones that are upbeat and then the crowd gets involved with it too, and that's always fun to see. So I'd say it's kind of a mix of types of songs I like, rather as opposed to just certain songs that I like to perform, if that makes any sense.
So you almost answered the other question, like so when you write a song, what comes first, the words or the melody? And Before I Knew You, it seemed like you were meditating on that scripture first.
You know what? It's so funny that you said that. That Bible verse for that song, even though it was titled Before I Knew, of course I didn't have a title for it at the time. The thought of that Bible verse was kind of an afterthought, and actually in that song near the end I quote that Bible verse, but believe it or not, that was kind of an afterthought to that. But as far as the creative process of writing and producing the music, sometimes the melody comes first, sometimes the lyrics. Usually when I'm putting a song together, I have the music ready and then I'm writing the lyrics to it. But I'm constantly writing all the time. So I'd say 10, 20 times a day. If someone says a little word, I write it down. I put it in my phone and things like that. So I collect a lot of notes. I'm constantly writing. When I hear something kind of clever, the way it's worded, I'll write it down. And then it kind of turns into a song. It morphs into its own little thing. But usually it starts with the music and then I'll take what I have and then work with that.
Yeah, I know you have some other singers that come along and sing, and some other performers. Tell me about some of the people that come along and collaborate with you with your songs. How did you come across those people? You know what?
Either from doing different events and different church functions and things like that, they'll be at the shows too and performing, and that's a good way. Also online, just the way social media is and stuff like that, connecting with them and talking and, hey, you should do this song with me. Hey, you should do this song with me, and we'll switch ideas, go back and forth, and that's usually how it happens, is either that or just meeting up in person.
Tell me, is there, in Colorado, because it's really weird, we have a church right up the street from us, and on a Saturday night, I mean, they're in there rocking the Christian contemporary music, right?
Sure.
And I've been trying to get a hold of them. Maybe I haven't tried hard enough, because I said, send out an email. Let me know when you're doing stuff like this. And the church is called the Scum of the Earth.
Oh, sure, I've heard of that. Right? Sure, definitely.
And it's like, but I love the music I hear out there. But it seemed like Christian contemporary, like local music, is almost like so underground that, it might be happening at this church, but this church is not letting anybody else know. But
you know what? I would totally agree with that. And, I think it even takes it a step further of what is a church outreach. Are you outreaching to the people inside the church, or are you going outside of the church to really do an outreach and bring people in that weren't already in the church?
Yeah, because I would admit, I would be traveling around from church to church like they had like a Friday or Saturday night event, and just to be listening to some of this news, encouraging stuff, because I mean, as far as my job, I mean, I go out and I listen to a lot of bands, and I tell my wife, if they weren't paying me, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
It's like I would go, and then when I go to like something positive, it's like, wow, this is a pleasure to be here, and I wish I could get them, and to put this out there. But maybe
no, I totally agree. A lot of the events I do, a lot of the kids that go there, they almost act in a sense that it's their first experience of going to a Christian concert in a lot of ways, Mm-hmm. So I would totally agree with you that it's definitely not marketed or put out there nearly as much as it should be.
Wow. And hopefully, I mean hopefully that's gonna change, because I mean I really enjoy the music that you put out, and I've been listening to you over the years. I said, this is some good music. It's like,
I appreciate it.
So
Well, I'll tell you, by doing this radio, that's a start by getting it out there, as far as not only me, but just Christian music in general and events going on in the area. And, to go out for yourself and check out, go online and search and see what events are going on in your own town. If you're not getting the emails and stuff like that, go out, go online and see what's going on for yourself, Be proactive about it.
Definitely. So what has been your biggest accomplishment in your musical career so far, as you see it? I mean, like, is it this cornerstone of this next album that's coming out? It's going to be your 8th album, right? Right.
As far as what my biggest accomplishment is, I've been on various TV shows, multiple magazines. I did an anti-tobacco ad for ESPN, and you know what? All those things are great. Recognition's a good thing. I think, everyone likes to be recognized, right? But, at the end of the day, it's after doing a show or after giving a kid my music and seeing the joy that it brings and just seeing the comfort that I can bring to other people through music and all the people that I've met on the way. Honestly, that's been the biggest accomplishment, is meeting new people, and they add me on Facebook and I get to see them grow as a person and things like that. Honestly, those are probably the most awesome parts of it.
I think I read in a Westward article that with the internet now, I mean, you're reaching people outside of the United States as well.
Sure.
Now, do you track that and do you plan on doing like one of those stage it concerts, for your international people? Or?
You know what? It's a possibility. It's funny you said that. Is the last single I released was titled Grace, and the last radio interview that I did prior to you was an interview that we did via Skype in South Africa. So, I mean, I'm definitely working on trying to touch the international market and reach them as well, because I think the whole world needs more Christian music. And, also, as great as the new Christian music is, I think we all need to embrace the original Christian music as well, as far as the hymns. And so many kids don't even know some of the traditional hymns and things like that. And I think that's important to embrace as well.
Yeah. You know what? I went to this restaurant called Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And they play instrumental Christian contemporary songs.
Sure.
And because I know the songs, I mean,
right.
I say, hey, this is fantastic, because I've never heard. I mean, you go into a McDonald's and they're playing some generic music, but it's like terrible music. But the songs they were playing in this Chick-fil-A, I said, this is a piano arrangement of this particular gospel song.
Sure.
And it was kind of fun.
It's an awesome thing when you can go inside Chick-fil-A and you hear that like that. It's, even if they don't have the words like that, at least it's planting the seed, right?
Oh yeah. And I wish there were more Chick-fil-A's,
Right.
Things like that. But So what do you see yourself in the next, I guess, 3 to 5 years, as far as like your music or places you want to take your music and things of that sort?
Well, I'll tell you what, to start off this year is just to release this next album. I'm going to be doing some music videos along with it, and we're going to start up touring again, definitely throughout Denver and the metro area, Colorado Springs. I already have multiple churches lined up in Southern California that want me to come out, and we're talking to a few other churches too in a couple other different states. So that's for the first year. And years out, honestly, I'd like to get involved in other genres of Christian music as well, just because I like writing songs in general. I see myself working on a compilation album here in the future with just different genres of music and just bringing good Christian music and help being involved in that. And, eventually down the road, I see myself writing a Christian devotional of some sort too. That's definitely been placed on my heart. I'm, just so focused on this album, but later on down the road, I definitely plan on doing more different things outside of music, outside of Christian hip hop, and exploring different areas of ministry as well.
Because, I noticed that because I listened to a lot of interviews, and I was here listening to this interview recently about with the secular music, there's a machine of writers. I mean, I just got to see the Motown 25, and it was a group of writers, and then they would write the songs, and then it was up to the performer to sell that song with their vocal abilities and their personality.
Sure.
So are you involved with writing songs for other people, or are you just pretty much focusing on just pretty much writing songs for yourself?
Right now I'm pretty much just focused on writing songs for myself, although I have started writing other songs in different genres. I won't say what just yet, but I have started writing songs in different genres. So, I do definitely want to move into doing different kinds of Christian music. I want to bring good music for everyone, all different ages, all different kinds of backgrounds. I want to make the kinds of Christian songs that people can sing along to, one of those songs that end up in a church and somewhere across down south, and they don't even know who Mr. Dean is, but they're just singing the chorus line praising God. You know what I mean? I want to do an album filled with songs like that.
Fantastic. And if you just joined us, we are talking to this musical artist named Mr. Dean, and he's working on his 8th album, and he has several albums out there for you to check out, and we'll tell you more about that as the interview goes on. If you were to give advice to a younger Christian contemporary artist that's coming up, either business-wise or just how to stay faithful to what they're doing, what would you tell them? If that's where your heart is in Christian music, someone told me that to always do what brings you joy, and then where the world's needs meet, wherever that crosses. So if that in your life is Christian music, then do it because you have the passion for it. Don't do it because of the money. If you do it for the money, you're going to be disappointed. You definitely just have to have the passion for it. And, something that I wish I would have done more when I first started off. Not to say I didn't by any means, but more is to read my Bible and get into the Word. I think that's so important that to really study the Bible and know what you're talking about. And I've found that the more I study, the better my music gets in a lot of ways. So that's some big advice, is not to do it for the money, and just to be really passionate about it and let it strengthen your faith. Well, okay. Fantastic. Now, in your free time, what do you like to do in your free time when you're not doing music?
I'm doing music. Like I said, it's a passion of mine. No, but
skiing or water
right?
Skiing?
I like going to the gym. I do that every day of my free time. But I'm really close to my family. My family all lives here in town, so I'm very close with them. And I'm single at the moment, so I just got back in the dating scene. So that's kind of where I'm at this point in my life.
Okay. Wow, we really want to find out more about how to hear your music and how to get on your mailing list. So tell our audience how people can learn more about Mr. Dean and how to follow your
Sure. If you go on to Facebook and then just type in search Mr. Dean, I'll pop right on up. So go ahead and add me. My last name is Lopez, so if you want to look for Dean Lopez, you can also add my personal account. That's one thing that's always been priority to me, is to be easily accessible to everybody. So definitely add my personal account as well. I'm on Twitter, and I also got a website as well, mrdean.net, and you can Google me as well. You can go on iTunes or any other streaming music site as well, and just type in Mr. Dean. You can find me wherever digital music can be found.
Okay, but we're gonna end this interview with Mr. Dean, and we're gonna most likely we're gonna play one of his songs. But thank you, Mr. Dean, for coming in and doing the interview, and just much success to you.
Well, thank you so much.
And your family.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get into some more music here at Innervision FM, and we'll be right back after this.
I've been traveling town to town, searching to feel a need, looking out the review as if there was something to see. Seen a white cross on ahead as I was heading home. If I knew what I do now, this is not my home. Heaven is out of reach, at least it is today. Live the best we can live, each and every day. I tried this on my own, and so hard did I fall. But he was there to catch me, right there through it
chapters in my life made me who I am. Full circle, came to see, came out without a scar. And honestly, a better me. I got down on my knees and then I looked up. And Father, you were there, even through the toughest stuff. They say joy comes in the morning, but before I gotta feel it. When you make it through the night, that's called character building. It's the little things you do just to show me you're there. And when you hear my needs, when I come to you in prayer. Now by default, I'm flawed, but you're building me up. Standing tall as a soldier till you're calling me up. Now, all I wanna do is be a follower of you. I can see the love you had long before I even knew I love you. And love is in Christ, and he wanted to love us, so he gave us his life. Who could turn the other cheek and still find joy within the pain? Look, none other than the name Jesus. A miracle is love, and love is in Christ, and he wanted to love us, so he gave us his life. Who could turn the other cheek and still find joy within the pain? Look, none other than the name Jesus. I knew you before I formed you in the womb. I set you apart from me before you were born. Hey, this is Mr. Dean, and you're listening to Johnnie J on Innervision FM.
I told you that's going to be an excellent interview, and it was with Mr. Dean. Now, we remind you that we are doing our week-long pledge drive where we're asking 100 of you to pledge $10 a month for the next year to help us with our operational costs. Now, we know you can do it. Go up to innervisionrecords.org. That's innervisionrecords.org. And be a blessing to us as we are a blessing to you.
Isn't it fun to sing along to the radio? If you could help someone else have that same experience and take it to the next level, maybe you would consider donating an old car, RV, truck, or boat. You know, for over 15 years, Innervision has been helping the physically challenged and grassroots artists to create their music. Using music to heal the world is Innervision's gift to you, and you can help them to continue by donating your unwanted car, RV, truck, or boat. You'll also receive a tax deduction at the end of the year. Call us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 1-855-500-7433. That's 1-855-500-7433. Charity ID 4015. Your unwanted car, RV, truck, or boat is tax deductible, and it can make a difference right here in Colorado. The artists at Innervision thank you for your support. Make that call toll-free using Innervision's Charity ID 4015. Again, the phone number 1-855-500-7433.